Next change clarifies the end of game procedures in order to eliminate any misunderstanding about the moment time expires. Rule 6.3.11, timekeeping. Signal for the termination of the period and signal with a horn, not a whistle, when time has expired. Note, the expiration of time is at the moment when the timekeeper's signal begins, regardless of the position of the ball at the time. We also address what action is to be taken when the signaling device malfunctions. A new approved ruling, 6.3.11a, asks, what happens if the signaling device malfunctions? Ruling, provided the last 10 seconds have been counted down to 0 and or the timekeeping device reaches 0, the referee's whistle shall represent that time has expired and the period and or game ends. The next change is about how to score a national championship game that is determined by the penalty kick tiebreaker. In Rule 7.1.2, we have now rewritten Approved Ruling 7.1.2 to explain the scoring requirement. How shall the game be recorded? Ruling, State U wins the game, and the University of the Arts loses the game. It shall be recorded as follows. Regulation game score was 1-1. State U wins the national championship on penalty kicks 10-9. The goals and saves during the penalty kick tiebreaker are not credited to the shooters nor assigned as goals against to the goalkeepers. In another rewrite to Rule 10.9, protest, 2 items have been added. In all cases of protest, the Secretary of Rules Editor shall determine the status of the game. If the protest is found to be valid and the result of the game changed, the Secretary of Rules Editor's decision, which shall be final, shall be reported to the respective teams and or governing sports authority. Protests must be filed within 72 hours, and the email, fax, and phone information is clearly listed in the rules book. Now let's go back to Dan if we can find him.
I'm right here, Cliff. This is an instance where a rule relates very strongly to the referee who must carry out post-game duties completely and promptly. Whenever you become aware that a game is to be protested, you must prepare and submit a complete written report. The report must be completed and submitted in a timely manner so that the decision-making authority has all of the necessary information on which to base a decision. There should never be a need for officials to ask for a report. Your multiple responsibilities for written reports of protest, behavioral problems, serious injury incidents, and other unusual game-related problems are very important. Forms are available for you to report ejections and fighting. This is a long-established requirement. And now I am pleased to introduce John Vandervars, the NISOA Director of Instruction, who will address an important refereeing issue.
Thanks, Dan. The issue of conflict management is an important one for both intercollegiate and interscholastic soccer referees. If you've been refereeing for a while, you're aware of greater challenges to your authority. You may also notice that when you approach a player for a behavioral problem, it's common for the athletes to shift the blame by claiming, "It's not my fault. That was not a foul." It's important for you to deal with this promptly and effectively. Conflict resolution is just one more skill that a successful referee needs to master. In the past, it was often enough to know the rules, be fit, and have the courage to go out and referee the game. Now, managing the behavior of players, coaches, and other team personnel is more challenging. The fact that each referee has a different personality and refereeing style often means that the methods will differ. However, there are a number of basics that will help improve your handling of conflict. The old method was to use progressive discipline, a quiet word first, then a verbal warning, then a caution, and finally, when all else failed, an ejection. Today, this method may not work as often as we'd like. Here are some suggestions. Control negative comments before they affect others. Ignoring them will not always work. For example, a coach's negative comments can easily be heard by an assistant referee. To control these, let the coach know you heard. A civil, professional comment without turning from the play can often diffuse a problem. Do this in a way to calm, not worsen the situation. Choose your words carefully. Do not invite a response. In a debate, the coach may well be the victor. When you talk to a player, focus on the current situation. Do not return to what happened earlier in the game. Long arguments are never a positive situation for the official. Limit your comments to a few factual words that address the issue. Again, long debates never work to your advantage. If the problem is a judgment call, do not discuss it. Rather, get the game restarted as soon as possible. Remain assertive and decisive at all times. Even if you change a call before restart, never let it appear that a player or coach forced you. You'll be challenged more often today, and as the referee, you must get past the emotions of the moment and demonstrate management abilities that resolve behavioral conflicts. Develop new skills and techniques that will improve your refereeing. Watch and talk with other officials to learn how they handle conflict. These can be important lessons. Have a great and successful season.
Thank you, John. Now it's a pleasure to